Hello, everyone. How are you guys? Are you okay? Here we are again in 2022 in the celebration of the World Constitution Day. Let's celebrate the World Constitution Day. To celebrate the World Constitution Day, we are going to talk a bit about a brief history of Brazilian constitutions. We are going to talk a bit about the brief history of Brazilian constitutions. My name is Nicolas Merlone. I'm a teacher, lawyer, author, and writer, and also master of laws. Let's go together. Well, a brief introduction. Nowadays, Brazil is a democratic state governed by law. Its rules, principles, rights, and duties for harmonious coexistence in society are established in the current Brazilian Constitution of 1988. But has it always been like this? We could ask. So, throughout history, as we reflect on the different phases of Brazilian politics until the democratic regime, Brazilian constitutions have undergone several changes. Let us now see together some of the main features of each constitutional test. It's worth mentioning that for this research, we investigated the website of Agência Senado, Senado Agency, the Chamber of Deputies, the website Polities, and the website Migalhas. Let's go together to the first Brazilian Constitution of 1824. Let's talk a bit about the first Brazilian Constitution of 1824, the Empire Brazil. On March 25, 1884, almost 200 years ago, the first Constitution of Brazil was granted, commissioned, and approved by Emperor Dom Pedro I after the famous Night of Agony, which took place the previous year. To date, it is the longest running document of its kind in the country's history, having been valid for 65 years. It was only revoked with the proclamation of the Republic on November 15, 1889. The document was responsible for organizing the functioning of the country's political and legal institutions after the conquest of its independence. In this test, the official religion was Catholicism and the vote was census. Let's see now a bit about the second Brazilian Constitution of 1891, the Brazil Republic. Elaborated after the proclamation of the Republic in 1889, this text was inspired by the Constitution of the United States and dates from February 1891. It guaranteed presidentialism and federalism in the country, with autonomy of the states and the separation between state and church, and Freedom Party, and directed elections for the Chamber, Senate, and Presidency, with a term of office of 4 years. Despite having been extended to men over 21 years of age, the right to vote remained prohibited to women, illiterates, soldiers, beggars, and religious. This constitution was in force for 39 years. So now let's talk a bit the third constitution the third Brazilian Constitution of 1934, the Second Republic. So, after the Constitutionalist Paulista, the Constitutionally Paulista from São Paulo Revolution of 1932 and the great political instability that devastated the country, Getúlio Vargas, in order to remain in the presidency, enacted to organize a democratic regime that assures the nation unity, freedom, justice, and social and economic well being. In July 1934, the Brazilian Constitution by the National Constituent Assembly, among the seven constitutions of Brazil, this was the one that was in force for the shortest time, officially for a year, when it was soon succeeded. Now let's talk a bit about the fourth Brazilian Constitution of 1937, the Estado Novo, new state. So let's talk a bit about the fourth Brazilian Constitution of 1937. During the dictatorial period of the Estado Novo, the new state, this charter extinguished political freedoms, the independence of the three powers, the autonomy of the states, and also the position of vice president. The election for president became indirect for a term of 6 years, and the death penalty, exile of opponents, the revocation of parliamentary immunity, and the censorship of the media were released. Let's talk a bit now about the fifth Brazilian Constitution of 1946. Let's talk a bit about the fifth Brazilian Constitution of 1946. So, after the deposition of Getúlio Vargas in 1945, new elections were held and Congress drafted a new democratic constitution. The text, promulgated in September 1946, reestablished individual and political rights, the independence of the three powers, the autonomy of states and municipalities, and party plurality. The term of president is now 5 years with direct elections. Let's now talk a bit about the sixth Brazilian Constitution of 1967. The sixth Brazilian Constitution of 1967, the military regime. To make the military regime official, a new charter was promulgated in January 1967. It established bipartisanship and indirect elections for president, with a 4-year term. Through institutional acts, the text was amended several times. According to the Senate, there were 17 institutional acts, regulated by 104 complementary acts between 1964 and 1969. The Institutional Act 5 of December 1968 allowed the closing of Congress, the censorship of the media and the arts, and the suspension of political meetings, the declaration of a state of siege and intervention in states and municipalities. Now let's talk a bit about the seventh Brazilian Constitution of 1988, the seventh Brazilian Constitution of 1988, known as the Citizen Constitution, our currently Constitution. Known as the Citizen Constitution, the 1988 Charter came to rebuild democracy and citizenship in the country, guaranteeing social and political rights to Brazilians, education, health, political and communication freedom, direct elections for all positions, among other basic rights for the population, were foreseen by this text, debated over 20 months by 1559 parliamentarians and with strong social participation. The Constitution was promulgated in October 1988. I thank you very much for following me until now. Talk to me if you need. This is my email. This is my email. Talk to me if you need, and follow me on the social medias. I'm in LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you very much again, and until the next one. See you, guys.